I don't know why yesterday's was so dark, and so it's only 5:30 in the morning. I already opened the thing. It's still dark out. It's so weird how that looks like blue, but it's not blue if you look out the window. Like it's weird how AI really does change colors and stuff of things. Like when you're showing something, you can't show exactly what you see with your eyes, if you get what I'm saying. So, anyways, I yesterday was so dark in the video. Like when which the downloading, I couldn't believe how fast. And the the day before, I was doing something in the kitchen. I think I was cooking or something. And so I was watching the time, and I finished the recording. And so I started downloading, expecting, for it to take 2 or 3 hours like it normally does, which is a huge cut from what it was on Comcast. On Comcast, it could take 8 to 12 hours. 5 to 6 hours was quick. And and then when I got the Ziply, the guy told me that this stuff, I keep seeing something over. The guy told me that it would go so it would go faster, that their slowest is way faster than Comcast. And so it did go like it was going like in 3 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. It seems like it was like usually 3 hours to download. And then, so not yesterday, but the day before. And I had done it. And so I noticed and I was like, oh my gosh, that was less than an hour. I didn't know for sure the exact amount of time. I swear something is right there. Is I don't know. My eyes are, man, and I keep doing these little weird tests on my eyes, and right now they're like fucking swamped. Like there's something like we're under fucking attack with this fucking atmosphere, and the stuff like for me to try and see is so hard right now. But so I had noticed it was less than an hour, and so yesterday I did that one, and I thought, okay, let's see if it's less than an hour again. And so I was still expecting it to be, like an hour or something. And I was doing something again. And then I went to go do something to my phone. I don't remember. It was already downloaded. I was like, oh my God, that was like 15 or 20 minutes. It was like I just told it and it just did it. That to me is, I mean, that could be signs that we are more in this quantum thing. Like, I don't know. I'm going to keep watching and stuff. Like, I know that things are getting changed over. And who knows how dramatic it's all going to go, if they're going to be changing things behind the scenes. And so maybe, our internet and stuff is being changed and stuff with that, but the story's still playing out. So we see it, but things are really changing. And there's supposed to be this weird, it's so weird how they always talk about it with space, this planetary alignment that's supposed to happen on June 3rd. There's supposed to be this huge thing that we would see, which, how do we see anything when they're covering it up all the time? But they could do a whole blue beam thing, because that even could be everything that they tell us. Just as we could sit back and go, like, people who are into astrology and metaphysics and stuff like that could sit back and say, the stuff that the religious people are all hanging on this bullshit that is all manufactured. But everything is manufactured. So all the stuff is lies. So even what we're basing what we think of, and I mean, there's still like there's so many astrology people and stuff like that that just talk like it's space is out there. And I just saw this guy go before this council, and they didn't even let him keep talking. But he was given all this evidence about the I've talked about it before. What is that called? Because it happened a long while ago, and I had wanted to be an astronaut so bad. And then and they took this girl, but at the time I was too tall, and but I wanted to go out and explore space. I've been talking to these beings forever, and I wasn't scared of space. I was like intrigued, and I knew aliens were real and all that stuff from the time I was little. It's just so weird going through all this stuff and watching people realize things and stuff. It's weird. And man, I'm all over the place already. Okay, let me think. It's like a fucking whole bunch of shit is open. Um, it's like a bunch of open tabs. Um, okay, I gotta close some of them. Okay, so where was I on? Let's see if I backtrack to where I was. See, I have to keep trying to. This energy is so excited. It's so excited. Like fuck, it feels intense. And it just gets more and more excited, and things get more and more weird. Like I feel more and more detached, and I feel bad for people who can't go in their heads because fuck, I live in mine. Like, and I can get myself lost in it, man. I keep noticing, and I swear to God, it's part of Stella's role, is to push me and make me get up and do things and stuff. Because I can just go just into my happy place and just, and then when I'm in my head, I can have, because I've said before, it's like Starship Enterprise in there, and there's a whole galley of conversation, and I'll have some pushing me like, well, go do this, go do that, showing me things and stuff like that. It's like, no, I'm just gonna stay here. I like it here. God, it's so relaxing. I just want to stay here, and I don't even know what it is either. Why it feels so peaceful, like it just feels like I don't know, it's like the place I like to go. Like I look forward to going to sleep and going into this other realm or this other world. Like I look forward to like meditation or going into my mind, and it's like a fairyland or something. And sometimes it is hard to get out of, but I know that that's one reason why she's so demanding and pushes me, which she's doing so fucking good. I can't even stress it enough how much I think this horse-based stuff is like the fucking, just as much as I think with the minerals. Oh, which, um, I always with this fucking light, and I had to turn it up because yesterday's was so dark, so I turned it up more, which makes it even more refractal light bouncing back, so it makes it look more white, or it shows, I don't know. But in the mirror thing, oh my gosh, this is like so much going away. It is just how that just looked right there. That's how it looks more in the mirror. It just doesn't look as extreme to me as it does on here, but it definitely now, I think I should have stayed on the glycinate, lysine. I decided to see like, well, how much, I've been taking this, how much magnesium do I need? You know what I mean? Just try different things. And so I was trying it just with the mineral salts and the spray. I'd gotten this spray, which it just says magnesium spray, 25 milligrams per squirt or something like that. And I had gotten it because I said that's what to do with dogs. When I was looking it up, it was, I saw a lot of people use it and use it on your feet to go to sleep. And it does really make you sleep good. Well, for me, it did. And so I had been using that, and then I was like, man, I probably don't need to keep doing the other, especially because I was peeing such a mineral smell, which that just keeps going. Even my mom mentioned it. She said, have you noticed your pee smells weird? And I said, yeah, it smells like minerals. It's weird. Definitely, where pee, like, to me had like no smell. And now it has this smell of like, I don't know, must be healthy, I guess, because it has a smell of minerals. And it's gross. Like, I know there's a lot of people who drink it and stuff, but I bet you, I mean, like, I'm not going to say a lot of people are drinking their pee. No, there's a whole homeopathic, there's a group of people who have, there's studies on it and stuff. And then if you think about your body, like if you get out of your mind of like flesh and blood and all the stuff that they put you into your mind, that's what I was saying yesterday, even about, if we saw ourselves as holograms and stuff in the filtration system. And then when it goes through the filtration system, it gives you back what you need. And then it's like a refiltering. And so there's people like, there's a thing about curing eyesight problems. And I'm not ready to drink my own pee yet, but I bet you I'll have some good pee. That is potent. But I just, oh, no, I can't do it. And I have this horrible memory. This is so horrible. I am sure that all of us, like, not just girls, because boys also have sleepovers and kids do raunchy ass shit and kids do stupid ass shit. And back in the day when I was younger, seances and Ouija boards and all this kind of stuff, hypnotizing each other. All this stuff was really popular. I've talked about that before, like ESP and all that was like, I don't know what happened. They started pushing like The Exorcist and Ouija boards, and it's scary. Don't talk to the spirits. And all of a sudden, people are just like, "Oh God, go to listen to the Bible" or something. Like, it's weird because even at my house, that my mom and her brother and her sister, even her mom, they would sit there and practice. I have pictures of my dad and my grandma playing with the Ouija board. I have and people were always like trying to communicate through telepathy and stuff. It was like, I don't know. I mean, I just saw, I think his name is Ram Dass. And I know he's like super spiritual and I think he says a lot of stuff like me, but I just saw him talking because I didn't know where he came from. And he was from Timothy Leary's studies. And then him being able to leave his, what they did with the drugs, and it gave him such a different vision of life. And, which I have said, when you have these things happen, like me coming out of my body, these different things that happen, conversing with these beings and them showing them, it's weird because it's not like showing themselves, but showing themselves in a way of telling you things that are truth and having them happen and stuff like that. It's not like they'll tell you everything. I've said that before. They're not going to tell you everything because you have to learn lessons from some of the stuff. And but there's little things that, yeah, they can confirm to you, like give you signs and stuff. And but anyways, I just feel fortunate, like, that was a part of my life journey because it's given me such a different kind of peace and understanding about life, where I see now all these people struggling and trying to understand and so confused. And when you see like the mind trap and how then you look at the mind trap and how well coordinated it was to hold a populace. And then, when you just go into it deeper, there's so much more to it. It makes so much more sense. But I have no idea. Like, I am all over the motherfucking place, and I'm just like leaving a trail. I don't even know where the hell I am. I'm a fucking comet going through space. So anyways, but we're going to have this planetary thing that's supposed to go on. That is supposed to be everything coming in alignment, everything shift. Like, there's people saying this is going to be the shift, which I don't know. I mean, it could be, but there's going to be a lot of other things that are going to go with the shift. Like, there's still going to be the government going down. There's a guy who is showing like their insider trading. Like, fucking politicians, like, go in, like, it's so fucking corrupt. It's just, and the people that they pull in to play these corrupt roles are people who are there to play that role. Like, they are corrupted. Like, they are dark energy. Like it's nothing is by accident. Everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And the people who play those parts, they really have a lot of dark energy. It's what got them into the place. And that's the thing too, is like, what was it? Because I was seeing this thing, and it was somebody talking about something, and I was thinking, see, this kind of stuff I think is important to think about. But some people, but I also have the perception of like, nothing can happen to you that's not supposed to happen to you. But there's more to it to me. It is, man, there's way more to it. Okay. Because then I start to go one, and then it's like, oh, wait, okay. So so when you are going in a direction, and there's always lessons in the direction that you're going. And there's a lot of people going in the wrong direction. They have no idea. And then there's all these things that are going to happen. But it's like they've put their own voice to it. Like I said, that they've locked in their answers. So when everything turns, the light comes on and the mirror's in front of them, they are hear their own voice, their own attitude and stuff. So they will see themselves. And there's going to be huge lessons in that. That is usually something that would happen in your life review. You know, typically you go through your life, and people who are following a spiritual journey, because through all the different ages and all the different times and stuff, there's always been people who have followed a spiritual journey. There's all been all different patterns that have played out. But so, you know, they would have a different awareness than other people, but typically you won't have that same capacity of reflection as you do in your life review. And then in your life review is when you go over, it is like you, I've heard a couple different things, like go through and see them own selves and kind of, you know, see what like have it fresh in your mind or something, and then show it to you from other people's perspective. So in all your interactions, you see it from their perspective, you feel it through how they felt it, and it's very impactful. That's why I said being more mindful now, thinking about, like, you know, not because it's not what the other person thinks, because then you're babying them, then you're not giving them enough. Like, why are you over them? And so it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be how you look at it. How do you feel? Because that's who you're going to face. And that's the part of being more mindful, of thinking, long hair going in my shirt, of thinking things through. So you think about, like, because you're going to face yourself. You're going to have to look at yourself. And at that point, that's when you can't do anything about it except for be reborn or go, you know, like, you're limited. And that is why during this period of time of growth, you have an opportunity to, confirmation. You have an opportunity to be able to learn and grow and do it ahead of time. So stopping and thinking about, like, well, how would I take that? How would I feel if somebody said that to me? And then that isn't even very accurate, because you still, when you are thinking about that, it's not through their perspective, but you're the one you're going to have to face. And but that is a part of the thing, is you go in and you see, like, how you affected other people. And it's not just like you watch, because you've already done that. You're going to feel it. You feel how they felt. And anyone, just if you go in and, you know, just read those parts out of the book and stuff, it's very significant. It's very powerful. And a lot of people, I heard one, and it was surprising to me, because all the different ones I had heard, they always felt like crap about themselves. But there was one I had heard that was very happy. Like, when they played it back and saw themselves and stuff, they just were so happy. But I think, you know, it takes being more mindful, and being mindful isn't just making other people happy, doing what other people want and need. It's also having good boundaries, because giving too much of yourself builds resentment. It builds anger, it builds tension, because it's out of balance, no matter which way. Think of everything as those balance scales, you know, and what is it like when they're out of balance? And when we are giving or taking too much, we're putting it out of balance. And we all want to find balance. And so you interfering with somebody else's balance because you think that they can't do it, like a part of this awakening thing, I think, for a lot of people, is learning that you can't save everybody. You can't save your kids. You can't save your mom. You can't save your uncle. You can't, whoever it is in your orbit who you're concerned because they don't see, they don't understand, and you feel like you have to save them. You're not trusting their own soul in the universe's, you know, because everybody has it. No matter if you have all these people that are trying to tell you there's people that aren't real, and they're all this stuff, you know, in order to be alive, you have that energetic connection, your energy. There's something that gives you life. And, you know, I don't know all this NPC, fake people, backdrop people, and all this stuff. It would be like, I don't align with that. I feel like maybe she missed in something in the interpretation. It was based on her understanding. And she's even talked about, she had limited understanding when she had started all that stuff. You know, there wasn't talk of reincarnation and stuff back then. They were kind of, when it started happening, that people were going into hypnosis and started talking about past lives. And, people were worried that they had broke them and stuff. They were like, what the fuck is going on? And then they started seeing like it was healing people to go in and look at their past lives and stuff. And that is when some people start going like, okay, there's something to this, and started doing more. Well, she was one of those people. And so she started, writing books about it and started trying to understand it. And so I think that some of this stuff, that's why you got to always look at it like everything with a grain of salt. There is not just one absolute. There's a person who's the absolute truth of all things. No, that's not even how it's supposed to be, because everything is based on your perception of where you are in your level of understanding, and all levels of understanding is necessary for the universe to have a deeper understanding. So it's not that you're ever doing anything wrong, and you can have in-depth understanding of one thing and less of another thing, and it's all based on your own experiences and stuff as a energetic being, eternal being, and whatever you want to see it as. But I just don't know if she understood some of the stuff, or maybe I don't. But whatever it is, and my understanding is everything that's alive is having an experience, and the interaction, it brings our experiences together. And that is how we are kind of creating a collective right now, because we're all starting to look at each other and have understanding and see what's going on, and have more empathy and understanding. I just saw a couple of videos, and when I talk about like different places and different cultures, and how all these different places are going through different periods of growth, like all of I think in all places there will be people who ascend, but not all places have as, like, there'll be some groups where there'll be a lot, but there's some that will all, like I had said, they'll all leave together or something. And because we've been in a place where you got to think of it as like, as the earth plane is a giant university campus, in all the different buildings having different lessons and different things that people are learning and experiencing. And now there is a shift that is occurring, but not everybody's in the same place in their learning experience. But there's some people who are in those places, but there's like pockets of energy. And but in this one, so in this cultural thing, because one thing that keeps getting brought up about is like this child bride thing. And in other cultures, like I had said before, there's more to it. And in this, I think, is in India, this woman was being interviewed, and she had been a child bride. And I was just like, there is a whole fucking thing, like, it's kind of like, it's kind of like you gotta make your own way to have food. You can't rely on other people. And so if you have to be married to someone in order to survive, then, and some people aren't even that lucky. And so I can share those videos. Oh, in those videos yesterday, that doctor who was talking about the stuff and the horse face and all that stuff, those went down. And so I told my mom, oh man, those videos have already been wiped. And I said, you're gonna, and I was trying to tell her some of the stuff that was on them. I said, go look like on Rumble or something. I think they've swept it. And that is how accurate her stuff was. It was good, because she was given a lot of fact stuff. And but I've seen so much of it. I'm all in on the CANCER is really bugs. Microscopic bugs, and you can kill them like without their stuff. And then you have to be mindful of your lifestyle. Lifestyle is so fucking important, and they try and market like healthy lifestyles as that's toxic. Be indulgent, and that's healthy. Like this whole thing, the Lizzo blow up thing, that is like no surprise, especially on timing. And because she did, there's like a good and a bad. So yeah, it was good because she did. A lot of heavy set girls then did feel like a role model. I can love myself, I don't have to be perfect, because there was so much self-loathing going on. And then so there was a good side, but then it became like a toxic side of don't care, don't try, just indulgence. And so the and that's out of balance. See, we're coming into balance as a society. And oh my gosh, the amount of things where there's like so many discussions going on about things where people are all, like I said, this is all for people to bring stuff to the surface to try and figure it out. And I see so many people asking other people, what do you think, what do you think, what do you think? And but you got to go with how you feel inside. You don't have to, you can listen to what other people think, and it can give you more stuff, especially if you're feeling internally like, I got to find out, what are other people saying? What are other people saying? Because you can also look in the comments a lot and see what people are saying. But people are just like, don't know, like everything is going so crazy. But everything is going so crazy, so you figure out like, it's like, it's just like setting your moral compass exactly perfect for you. It's like exactly your shade, your exact shade of blue or whatever. It's you. And so that's why you've got to be very risky in how you being able to just be sure of how you feel about something. And remember to be flexible. Like, you could watch one thing and feel like you think this one way, and then all of a sudden something else pops up and it's like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought of that. And they give you a whole new insight. And that's going to keep happening. And that is why don't get in all rigid. No, this is the only way. This is the only answer. You guys are all stupid and stuff. That's why I said this is what's going to be shown to these other people who are doing that. This side of themselves is rigid, judgmental, and it goes so much deeper. Because like I said, there's a sense in spirituality of not being in control and just learning how to ride the wave and feel good and have a deeper understanding of the things that go on. And so there's like a huge transformation that has to happen, how people perceive even being alive, I think. And so many things. I'm still like, fuck, all over the place. And while I'm talking, I'm just like bouncing, like this ball bouncing on all these different things. It's like, okay, what about that? Okay. It's like, oh my God, this energy is so intense. Oh, okay. So and it's gotta be like, we've gotta be getting close to this, things, because so many things are being shown, so many things, just like this Wendy Williams thing. There's stuff coming out about her. This Jaguar lady, she was a singer. A lot of these people who are in this industry, Wendy Williams, I don't know, she was a radio host or something. She was involved with hip hop, and she was saying, what they do with the old guys and what they do with the old girls. They like made her go on to this talk show, which she said this is not her thing. And then people are saying she faked her illness to get away from Diddy. And but in this one interview, she is kind of being like, how sad it is that all these gay guys in hip hop have to hide who they are, and then they take it out on kids or something. It's like, that's a whole nother fucking thing. I guess one thing, if you are into your own gender, but it's another thing if you're into children. Like, that's a whole other thing. Like, what? And then if you're doing it out of abuse, that's a whole other thing. That's not even out of love. Like, fuck. So, I don't know. There's a lot coming out, with the music industry and stuff. And There's a whole fucking weird ass shit with this Clive Davis and I don't know. Like, it's vampire shit if you ask me. I've said before, there's a lot of these fucking people are fucking vampires. They've been alive for fucking centuries and they live off of our essence, whatever. Let me think, because there was, so all that kind of stuff just keeps going. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Like, Jesus Christ. And, and after I had just said that about Chappelle, there's videos coming out saying now the Chappelle thing's coming back to the surface. I was like, what? And so they're talking again, recirculating about what his cousin said, showing the pictures, telling him the whole thing, what happened his last day. Yeah, that is not original. That's not original Chappelle, no way. Especially when you see those pictures next to, and they always do these body changes to kind of like confuse you or something. That there's differences in his face that, you know, his weight change when, and one thing too about Chappelle was that he was, I don't know, kind of like me, just like this lanky kind of person. And he wasn't into bodybuilding and stuff. He was just, you know, kind of thinner, lankier. And then the new one, he's all Mr. Bulky, Mr. wants to work out all the time. And they're like, and see how that was like all of a sudden. And he, you know, so suddenly he changes personalities. He changes his whole morals. Like where money didn't matter. Now all of a sudden, you know. But this Dave, though, what confuses me, because they could have had his stuff and been growing that guy, you know, and they do fuck with people's consciousnesses and stuff. But I swear, I think there's some of these replacement clones are, don't know that they're replacements. And they even had that, and some author had done it, but the information comes from the universe. So, and this author had talked about this island of clones. I talked about this before because my last husband, he was in school, and this was in his class, and he had to read it, and then he wanted to watch the movie. So I watched the movie with him. It was like, oh my God. And he was really traumatized by this book and this movie. And it was really like, fuck, man. So they had this island, and I can't remember the name of it. You could probably look it up because I think it's pretty well known. And it was these kids, and they didn't really know what the deal was, but they are clones or something. And so that when the people need them, they can just pull them in, and then they're just taken for parts. They're just used as parts. But they all have lives, and it's really just like, oh my God. Everything is about this fucking ethical stuff. And there's like, you know, like we have a window of time, our time that we're born and when we die. And what we do in between shows us who we are. And when you are struggling to stay alive, you're taking other people's bloods, other people's parts and stuff. And if somebody's had those, you know, I'm not saying like, well, you should have known or something. No, these are things these are reevaluations in life. We were pushed in a certain direction, and now we're in a reevaluation. And I have seen it for a long time. Like when I very first heard like about Jehovah's Witnesses not taking all this medical intervention, I thought, you know, how strange, and isn't that kind of abusive to do to your kids and stuff? But then as time went on and I became more in this concept, like I think, I swear to God, when everybody started wearing these, that really triggered something in my mind. Like, what the fuck? These people think that they can hide from the inevitable? Like, what is going on? Like, it was so weird. And it wasn't just that people put them on. It was people's attitude. And then there's still people out there. It's like, you cannot motherfucking hide from death. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, goddamn. And, but the fear of death, the absolute fear of it, and it's going home. Like you are out, you are in a foreign country. You are not home. Like, and people are scared to go home because they forgot they have a home. It's like, this is like, no, that's going home. That's where you find like, oh God, it feels so good. I'm home. Yeah, and so and then got people so scared of it. People scared to die, even when they've lived long lives and stuff. Even though there's going to be more and more is going to keep coming out with this aging bullshit and the lies behind it and stuff. And I started back on the magnesium lysate glycinate a couple days ago, and I stopped the selenium. And I've only used the magnesium spray a couple times, and because I keep forgetting. But and so I've taken the magnesium, I think it's like 5 days now or something, and I started being able to tell real quick. Like I for sure needed more magnesium. So now that I'm taking more, and maybe I could even try moving it up and taking 2 pills and see. It did seem like kind of like I was in a lull, like it was going fast and then it went a lull, and I was taking the selenium and using the mineral salts and the magnesium, and I still thought I was getting enough magnesium, but now that I went back on this and it started changing again really quick, then I was like, oh my gosh, so I need a lot more magnesium than I thought I did. And so, but once my whole hair is solid back to original color, then I would think, you could go back a little. And then if you start seeing changes, like you got to find your balance point. I don't think you're constantly going into this like, oh, got to refill it, refill it, refill it. Once you get it to where everything is like, because your hair is your monitor, it's like your thermostat for what's inside. And then when it starts like looking unhealthy, and look at how many people go and do all these chemical assault on their hair, so then they don't really know, like, because they're externally attacking their hair, so their hair can't really monitor to them what's going on inside their body. Because I talk to these people all the fucking time. People's hair's falling out, and tons of people's hair is going thinner. And I don't know if they're all colored hair, but these are the things where your body is telling you your hair's falling out, your hair is becoming brittle and thin, and all of those things when you're not, because the chemical assault from the exterior can cause a lot of these problems. And then if you're damaging your follicle and stuff. So if you are having those happening, you're not doing any chemicals and stuff on your hair, which it seems that is a lot of people who I'm talking to, is that they are always like, because they're constantly, they'll be like, oh my God, your hair is so beautiful and thick. What do you do? How do you do that? All my hair's falling out. All my hair, I get this all the time. And so your hair is like your barometer. It's like your thermostat, like the little red part, the gauge thing that shows you. And so if your hair is falling out, okay, then there's something going on inside of me, because my hair shouldn't be falling out. And your hair is changing colors. But see, we didn't know this stuff before. Like, we're all just learning this. So don't feel like, oh my God, I was such a stupid ass. We all were stupid asses. We were all being tricked and being misled. So they want to make money off of us. So now, though, is when, we're all starting to catch on and figure shit out. So to your hair, like if your hair is brittle, it won't grow, all these different things are showing you. And I had no idea that your hair changing colors. And I just had this, it was a hairdresser too, talking to me in the comments. And she said that she has noticed that she has like a white streak. And when she's sick, the streak will come, and when she's not, then it will go away. And so she's said, like, the stuff I was saying was making sense. But usually the hairdressers argue with me the most. But the hairdressers are the people who love, you gotta love aging. Don't fight it. Just go with it. Love yourself through aging. Like, well, aging isn't real, so love yourself to death? Like, no, I'm gonna take care of myself. I kind of like this fun. I kind of like this thing called life. I think it's fun. It can be, it's fun. I swear to God, it's in interactions, just like hugging Stella. It's like, you can't do that. There's so many beautiful things that you can do in life that you can't do when you're just energy flying around out there. To come into this, to get to have an experience, to feel, is like, man, you gotta enjoy it. So, oh God, I'm all over the place. Fuck. I'm spinning my own mind. What the fuck am I? Um, I'm on a ride at the carnival, one that's like spinning around, going around. But ooh, one of those just spilled some people out and killed them too. And I'm seeing so many fucking things like traveling. Oh yeah, that was the thing. The traveling and all these different things, like everything's just blowing up in people's life. But see, that's the thing is like it's not like to have the awareness that all this stuff is going on and then to have it stagnate you. Like to be like, well, I'm too scared. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to do anything because I'm too scared. And I definitely have that kind of thing like, fuck, and drive like anything can happen. Like fucking people are driving like crazy. You're driving to Seattle. It's like, motherfuck. And, you know, when people, I guess even in New York, it's like it's beyond just the punching people. Like women are just totally being under attacked and assaulted. And it's going to keep going in the streets. It's going to keep building in all the different cities. And so anyways, yeah, I get that it's very like, fuck. But, you know, when you have somewhere that you need to go or something, you still need to go do your stuff. You still need to be able to live your life. And then whatever happens to, you know, that's what's meant to happen. That's what you're meant to go through or whatever. The thing is, to me, is it's about awareness too. So it's about like awareness, like going into the city and being able to like look around and be watching the people and making sure nobody's, you know, powerhousing up with their hand out to slug you. And so people who don't have awareness, see, then that can happen to them more. So it's not like there's a thing to the awareness. It's not about just like being scared and being stagnant and stuff, but and then there's also the spiritual understanding that it won't happen to you unless it's meant to happen to you. Things can't happen to you unless it's in your fucking contract, it's in your design, it's in your the role you're playing. And it's just like they can't just all of a sudden throw something at you. And so the experiences are already set. So but it, but in all the different things of learning, see, you're always going to learn the thing you learn when you learn it. And so there's a part to the learning, there's a part to the awakening, there's a part to you beginning to take care of yourself and look at things differently. And then you have this part that's just this blind, like, just I'm going on a trip, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going out to eat. Like, oh my God, the stuff with the going out to eat thing, there's so many more videos, so many more people finding the grossest ass fucking shit in their food. And people being like, I'm just gonna start cooking at home. I just can't do this anymore. And that is where everything has to lead back to. Plus, cooking at home, you know, it develops your skills and stuff. Like, where we ever came up with like having somebody else cook our food all the time. And especially like, and as going along with all of this gross out stuff at restaurants is showing like, oh, like hearing about this fucking sewage oil. Yeah. And I swear to motherfucking God, I told my sister, like this was in Orange County back in the early 80s. And it was this little tiny restaurant. I don't think the people who could speak English who worked there. And my sister would go there and eat. And then she's like, oh my God, it's so good. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so good. You gotta come and have it. So I'm like, okay, I'll go. And so we went up there and we ordered it and we got it. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, are you sure this is really chicken? I don't think this is chicken. And she's like, oh my God. Oh my God. She says how she always says, oh my God, Kelly. Oh my God, I've heard that so many times in my life. Oh my God, Kelly. Oh, that's funny. What do you think it is? I'm like, I don't know. It seems like more the size of like, was supposed to be rat or cat or something. And plus it says Catman Sue or something. Don't you think maybe it's cat? And, you know, she thought it was so ridiculous. I don't remember if I ate any of it. I might taste it or something. I can't remember. I definitely didn't go back for more. But I remember just that whole thing. And now, like, all that shit is coming out. Like, there's places being busted. They're fucking taking cats and rats and cooking them and shit. It's like, Yes. Of course they're going to take this shit that is like fucking, and in some of these other countries, it's like no big deal. Like, if you're going to eat something that's alive, you just fucking kill whatever. Like, what, does it really fucking matter? I got goddamn slugs all over outside. Maybe they're a delicacy. What is that one place if I can cook the slug? Which I have eaten those things. The garlicky snails. Probably motherfucking slugs. I could probably eat those motherfuckers. But you're not supposed to let your dog eat them outside. You probably have to cook them. I don't know. But they have some kind of slime on them. And they fuck with the animal. Like when I had first moved in, some guy came over who was cutting down some trees in my front yard. And or cutting up some trees that had fallen in my front yard. And he was giving me some advice. Or it could have been the FedEx guy. The FedEx guy used to stop and chat, and I don't know what happened to him. Now we have like some crazy FedEx guys, and one of them just speeds around. But I just saw an Amazon truck just, oh my gosh, she left the thing going. It crashed into the car, into the people's house twice. She's just throwing the package, runs back, and then she can't get out of the driveway. Like, oh my gosh. Like, some of these places are just hiring whoever. I don't think that they even have to go through driving school. Like, I don't know. That's wild. But one of them had told me that don't let your dog eat the slugs because they do something. Like, I don't know if they can kill them or whatever, but they do. Like, if you pick them up, they do have a slime, like where they leave like slime trails. They've got that slime stuff, and you can't get it off your fingers. If you pick one up and like throw it, it will stay on your fingers. And it sounds mean and abusive to throw it. Yesterday, I was still blocking people. Like, it was fucking Bethany Frankel. Like, I blocked that. Lisa Renette. Like, these rando people keep showing up on my thing. I'm really getting sick of fucking TikTok. Not only that, you go and you start listening to somebody's story. It fucking has commercials. They fucking do commercials now. And then it will just cut off on the video. You don't get to hear the rest of the story. It's just a commercial. And, but anyways, I was blocking those people because I don't give a fuck. These fake ass ladies trying to push their fucking products and shit, like, fuck off. And, but this one lady, I don't remember what the hell she was doing. Some weird fucking thing. And some of these people drag their fucking goddamn videos out so long. It's like, you could have done that in 10 seconds. Whatever it was she was doing, it was like on her counter or something. Her cat got up there and was trying to get up there. But the way she pushed him, it was just so mean. And she was like, get away. It was, I don't know that she said, get away, stupid, but it was basically like that, and pushed him. I was like, what? What? Like, I mean, I've pushed cats down off the counter, but not like, kind of like, go, get off the counter. And, but give them a thing so that they can jump, just not like knock them and then be rude. I don't know. Maybe I've had a bad day and done that. Fuck, I don't know. I don't be judgmental. I don't need to deal with that shit. But anyways, I just blocked her. I was just like, fuck that, girl. My God. You're going to be mean to your animal right there? Right on the fucking camera? Like, no telling what you do behind. There was a woman who, I heard about this a while ago. And she was on YouTube. And she would use her dog to get follows. So she would, I don't know, get her dog to do stuff or something. I'm not really sure. But so she had a bunch of people who liked her dog and liked her and thought she was this really good dog lady or something. And then I don't know if she was live or something. Because if she made this video by accident, then why would she post it? It was, if there was a section that she didn't realize or something, but it was showing her how she really was with the dog, and she was really abusive and talked mean to it and hit it. It seems like it was like I might be getting her confused with the German Shepherd lady who was like banging it out with her dog on camera. But this one, maybe a Doberman, I don't know. Whatever it was, she was really horrible. And then so everybody saw, and it became this big thing. And this was a public humiliation that happened a few years ago. I don't even know where she is. She got disappeared. Same with the lady who was doing it with her dog. Like, I don't even know, like, where that even, like, how you thought that would go. Like, Like, I don't know. Like, some people are here having lessons. Oh, yeah. So the other thing about it over there in this other country where not only do they marry these little kids, and then the kids are forced to have, you know, marital acts with the adult, and hit and stuff like that. But when they get pregnant, so this lady, this was a grown woman now, and she was still bawling over it. Her first one was a girl. So she said they just smother them, all the women. Like, she said it's out of your control. You can't just shut. And it's, I don't know, it's like the mother-in-law, the aunts, or who the fuck comes in. And so they don't want a girl. That's just another mouth to feed. They need a boy, you know, who's going to get out there and do some work. I don't know why girls can't do some work. Like, what? So, but this has happened in other cultures. That's what I'm saying. There's lessons. There's big lessons. Like, the lessons that souls are learning are big. Like, it's like long, drawn out lessons. Like, we're a part of lessons. And so she said the first one, they smothered her with sand. And then the second one was a girl. So they took her immediately, just took her right out, put her in a box, covered her with dirt, left her until she suffocated. The next day went out and just took her and buried her. And this little girl could do nothing about it. Now she's an older woman. That's the only two I heard. I don't know how long this interview is, but it's like, oh my gosh. Like, but I can hear, like, the lessons, like, there's bigger, way deeper lessons, you know, going on. And that, you know, like, you don't have to understand every different place and every different culture and what they're learning and trying to experience and grow. They're different realms, they're different realities of experience. And then what these people here have done is trying to, you know, put us all under this umbrella and pair us up against each other, get us to fight this hierarchy. We're better than you, but you know, we're all at different points and places, and we can learn from each other. But you know, we need role models to learn from. We need people going in a good direction, a positive direction. And what we've had is, like, you know, a lot of toxicity, because they would push it through. Because even though, you know, Lizzo was giving all these people, like, you know, love yourself, which was good, but it was like not getting people to do better for themselves. Because there's also a sense of, when you're unhappy with yourself, to listen. Why are you unhappy? Why are you unhappy with yourself? You're not happy with your weight. So what can you do about that? And there's such a part of weight issues having to do with emotional trauma and your emotional issues and what you hold on to. And so there's so much more to your healing than just losing weight. And then some of these people, like the girl who I had shared the video yesterday, where she's like, you know, she was talking about the routine in her life that she had just added in. You know, she'd been to the gym for whatever, an hour and a half or something. And I was like, fuck. And you know, I don't know how much weight she's lost or whatever. I don't know if that's even a part of what her videos are ever about. But I mean, she's not in shape yet. Like, if she's trying to get in shape, she's not, like, in shape yet. And so she's going and working and working and working hard, and possibly getting nowhere, because you got to heal the emotional trauma. Otherwise, you're just abusing yourself more. And so you've got to, and then once you are done abusing yourself or starving yourself or whatever it is that you know, who think that that's the way forward to treat yourself bad, that once you are finished with that and you start looking at, like, why are you so self-destructive? Why are you so abusive? Why are you so, like, you know, you're starve yourself. You're never allowed another cookie, you fat bitch. You know, like, people talk like that to themselves. They're mean to themselves. It's like, why would you tell yourself you're never allowed another cookie? If you love cookies like me, figure out other ways to make them, healthier ways to make them. Don't go down and buy the fucking Oreos and shit that are full of fucking poison. Go make your own cookies and you'll still have some poison in them, but you'll have less. And part of it is learning how to have more control, not just, impulsively eat. Just eat until you just can't eat anymore. It's like there's a gauge in there for you to learn to monitor. And, a lot of people, they eat and they're trying to fill something besides their stomach. They're trying to fill their heart. They're trying to close the pain in their brain. And so there's other things to do besides eat in order to do that. That's why it has so much to do with the healing. But once you start doing your healing, the weight will just start coming off because you're no longer holding on to it. The people don't realize that you're holding on to it. You're going to the gym, working and working, but really you're abusing yourself because things are not in balance. If you're going in that route and things are not progressing like you want, that's what I would say, is that you are being too, like your body is taking it like you're not really listening. Your body is like, you're just being mean to me again. You're just being hard on me. You're just abusing me. You're not listening to me. And you got to think your body wants to be heard. There's a reason. And there's a reason when you gain weight. There's a reason why you gain weight. And, a lot of us, especially women, we've gained weight because when we had kids and stuff, but then also there's more to it, I swear. Because, just start looking at it. Look at it in your life, and maybe it is like it's very traumatic, becoming a mom, and then you start holding on to weight, or maybe there was somebody who rejected you because you had gained weight, or maybe it was a record that you replayed in your mind from the past event of being a child. Maybe there could be a whole lot of things that lead you into this trap of like holding on to something and not realizing. And so then, you start feeling bad about yourself, which you just will create more eating and stuff, because we've never in our society had so many people in the hundreds and hundreds of overweight. Like, we've had more people, and this was when I was a nurse. They were already talking about these stats, that we had never had so many 600-pound people in our history of humanity or whatever. And now there's way more. Like, we got 1,000-pound people, 500, 600-pound. I'm like, it's not, and so, and it's like, Lizzo, you became like the poster child to, don't deal with your shit. Just, just go eat, go get a popsicle and feel good about yourself. It's like, but that's not the healthy way to go. It's not healthy for your body. It's not healthy for your mind. It's not healthy for your spirit. And so in this connection, all those kinds of things are going to come to the surface. And people are going to be humiliated. They're going to be confused. Like, she really thought she was doing something good. And so she genuinely seems sad. But, I said there's going to be a lot of people who are going to face a lot of humiliation through this awakening. And the best thing you can do when you are facing is humble yourself. Like, that would be the thing I would advise her to do, is start looking at it from the other side. Look at it from the other perspective. Don't take it personally, but you got to take whatever personally to heal it. You got to go through the steps. But so... the road to lean into is the trying to see the other perspective, so you can see like, oh, okay, I hadn't even thought about that. Like, there would be so many people who would just, quit taking care of themselves and just be like, oh, it's good enough. It's good enough. Because it's not good enough. You have an optimal best, and a lot of people are far from their optimal best. And it's like a surrender, like a giving up. But this is the journey back to self. So you can find yourself again, no matter where you are in this, no matter how toxic you are, no matter if you've been fucking labeled narcissistic, psychopath. Like, they've got so many fucking diagnoses that have to do with your mental state and stuff, which there's nothing wrong with your mental state. Like, it's the same thing as trying to compare your shoulders to somebody else. You can't compare how you think to somebody else. We all are thinking beings. We are beings. Like you are being. And so your existence is your existence. They're trying to get us to all like compare. And so we're like, oh, well, I must be weird. Well, I don't do that. Well, I think this way. Well, I do that. Well, and then they even come up with like, well, the people who notice, we'll just call them neurodivergent. We'll just call them attention deficit. We'll just tell them this. We'll just tell them that. It's like, no, it's just all states of consciousness, all states of perspective, and there's nothing wrong with you, no matter, what it is. But there is this time of growth right now where you get to challenge yourself to become your optimal best. So these diagnoses, use it for the other side. Don't, go crawl under a rock and cry and feel sorry for yourself. Like, oh my God, I'm borderline. What am I ever going to do? I'm never going to have a normal life. Like, who's telling you that? Them. Go, I've had so many fucking diagnoses. You just go, you don't stay with the diagnoses. I'm telling you, you figure out like your own patterns, what it is you do. When you get your feelings hurt all the time, then you start looking at it and start being like, somebody hurt your feelings and you're like, okay, I just got my feelings hurt. Okay, so let's think about this. Why are my feelings hurt right now? Why am I feeling so attacked by this person? Why do I feel so triggered by this person? And going deeper into that and trying to understand where your insecurity, where your defensiveness or whatever is coming from, then you can manage to find your place of peace. Because then once you can see and you can acknowledge yourself and you can see what your reaction, then it's not an autopilot reaction. Then you've caught it, you've seen it. And the more that you can catch them and see them, the more you can reduce them, the more that you can figure out how to manage them. And so, and a lot of the stuff is that once you heal it, then you're not going to be like sensitive and have your feelings hurt and try and play games to get what you want and stuff. No, that stuff is just going to go away. But where'd your fucking diagnoses go? It's all gone. Is that you don't have those characteristics anymore because they're all healable. And there's so many people who get these things and they feel so trapped by their diagnosis. They feel so overwhelmed. Like there's nothing they can do. They're stuck. They're broken. And I know, I fucking lived a lot of my life feeling like I was broken. Like something's wrong with me and like it's up to me. I got to fix it. And science offers you everything possible. Like, they'll help you. They're there for you. They'll help you fix it. But they're never trying to fix what's broken. You have to figure that out. And you'll go like, for me, I went through a lot of their jumping through all their hoops and stuff. And nothing gets fixed. But, when I was left on my own, then I could figure out how to fix me. Then I could start figuring out like what was going on. I could see through it. I could see the patterns. I could understand it in a deeper level. And so then once you start seeing the patterns and you stop being like good guy, bad guy, and you start seeing you're playing a part, that this person needs your part to play so they can play their part. So once you get a hold of your part, you're no longer in these patterns. You don't have this same thing playing out. And you can go into these interactions and immediately you can recognize it. It's like, well, I'm not playing this game. I'm not playing this game. And they may be confused. You don't have to say it. You don't have to tell people. But you can recognize it for yourself and just pull free. And that will be a development that you will figure out how to do. And it can be sloppy at first. It can be like, heavy on the boundaries and, like, oh, you just stop, get angry. And but then, you'll go and then you'll feel like, oh my God, why did I overreact so bad? Why was I so angry? Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Am I really a nut? Am I just an angry person? Why am I so angry? And go in and look at it deeper. And then, you don't find anything and you just be like, oh, well, I was overreacting because I was having all these emotions come up. And this is all, this mastery of self has to do with getting a mastery of your emotions. Not being led by your emotions, you being the one leading. So it is this flipping over. So you have more control over you. You may not be able to control the world. You can't control everybody else. You can't control what's going to happen, but you control yourself. You control your attitude. You control how you look at things. You control what your energy you're putting out to people. You know, you're going to be like, well, life sucks. Everything sucks. I'm so angry. I'm so mad. And go around just, fucking bull in a China store through life. Just knocking people out of the way because you're so angry. And that energy will come back on you. Like, that affects. that is an energy that you are affecting the world with. Infecting the world with. But it is affecting the world. You affect the world. And the more you awaken to yourself spiritually, the more you start taking that aspect of yourself more serious. That's the part where I'm talking about being more mindful. Thinking about like, well, fuck, do I really need to say that? Like, was that, like, why was I saying that? Was I saying it for my own self, for my ego? Like, oh, I'm better than you. I know this. I know that. Like, and just being able to question yourself and understand yourself. It doesn't mean you have to change everything. And it doesn't mean you're going to change everything immediately. But it is this way of waking up to yourself. This way of, trying to communicate with yourself and understand yourself. And, but that hairdresser girl, I did say to her, like, all these people are going in and burning their hair off and cutting it off. But your hair really is there to show you. It's like something that grows from inside of you that can monitor and show you on the outside. So if you're color treating your hair and stuff, then it is going to probably not have the same ability to gauge to you. But if you're not coloring your hair, because even guys who are losing their hair and stuff, I would say is minerals, like everything, or you have got too many chemicals, and these parasites like are fucking eating us up, man. So you got to do the and I swear to God, I can't even. The horse paste is my favorite. Well, the gel is especially my favorite, but that is and her sister all going away and stuff, like all of her different ones. And if there was like a big blow up of them because that one tumor opened and all those parasites went everywhere and went into all these different encapsulated areas, and so the horse paste kills them, and so it gets rid of all of that stuff. Like I can't even tell you enough how much I like that stuff. And it really seems to like, there's people who say like it's a chemical. You still got to be careful. So, you still got to do your research, be careful and stuff like that. With her, I'm going to, like right now, she just run out. So I'll give her a break, but I'm going to keep doing it and doing it until like she has nothing in her skin. And there is a change in her attitude, like her jumping around and playfulness and stuff. So, it's very obvious that she feels better. So anyways, doing these cleanses though, getting what is in competition with you and your health. So get rid of the competitors. This is the time to kill all competitors. So get rid of everything that's competing for your energy, your health and stuff out of you. And then, which is also chemicals. And so you got to do all this detoxing thing and getting, going through your house and being like, oh, this has got a lot of chemicals. I don't want that. The food, everything. There's people who have so many of those little smelly things like fragrances. All these things are hormone disruptor, metabolic, cancer. Like it's all bad. This artificial, smells good world is not good for you. And that tastes good. It tastes so good. It's not good for you. So that is where you got to draw the line. You got to pick which way you're going to go. You're going to go I'm going to be unhealthy and love myself, or you're going to go like it's going to be hard, but I'm going to get there and I'm going to find my health. And so, making sure that you do those other things, but then it's adding in the minerals and stuff. So I can't say, like if your hair is falling out or it's brittle or whatever, that's where you've got to see, is it because you've got too many chemicals? Is it because you've got too many interfering bugs? Do you have, are you completely deficient in chemicals? It's probably a combination of all of those things that you need to work on you. But, your hair is showing you that there's a problem. It's like Scotty is fucking saying it over the fucking thing, like trying to tell you there's a problem up in her and you need to pay attention. But so many people just don't pay attention. As well, it's part of aging. Well, my hair bald out. Oh, well, and then they'll ridicule themselves too. That's just the way this society is set up. But, the new approach is, try and figure out, like, you would have other things, I guess, monitoring besides your hair, but it's really clear right now that people's hair is showing how their health is. I mean, we got so many people who are fucking severely nutritionally deficits and sickly, aging way faster than they should be. Like, it's all, part of it. And so but adding in the minerals and stuff like that. So taking notice of your hair and then trying these different things. Well, if I try this, how much difference does that make? And, the cleanses and stuff don't take that much time. The detoxing, you just keep taking stuff out. Like you start, noticing like, ooh, I don't want to eat that. It has a bunch of stuff I've never heard of in it. Like I try and stick to more ingredients where it's just like butter, eggs, just basic stuff, not all this, gluconate, whatever the fuck. So, try and get as much of the words, a bunch of words out of your ingredients. And because the words are affecting you. And so the more that you do that, so that, depends on what your lifestyle's been like. And if you were, a stop and pick up your food on the way home kind of person and somebody else cooked it for you, it's probably got a lot of that stuff in it. So that is probably a good place to start making changes in your life. And yeah, it takes a little bit longer to cook from scratch, but it's so much better for you. And you can do, like if you're working and you're like, oh, I can't do that. Do the pre-cooked thing. There's ways that you can, like as on a Sunday, some people do a meal prep day. So you get all your meals prepped up. So then you can still just come home and grab one. So really you only spend a few hours cooking and then you get everything ready. And some you can put in the freezer, some you can put in the fridge, and just figure out your meals ahead that you're going to eat that week when you come home. And so you're not stopping and buying something on the way, because that stuff is generally, it tastes really good, but it's really bad for you. And then see, like when you're doing that, how much does your hair start changing then? How much does your waistband start changing? Your skin, your attitude, your insomnia, you'll start noticing changes. And all the different things, and just keep working towards your health and working towards you. But definitely on the things with weight and stuff, there is a whole emotional thing that goes with it. And so in all of these different things through healing, it has to do with emotional healing. You have to stay in tune, mind, body, spirit. You have to stay in tune with how you feel on the inside. And you have to keep in mind that your body is not you. Your body is separate from you, and it is trying to communicate with you. So anyways, let me think. Hopefully I'm making sense. Let me think if there was something else. I don't know. On the social media stuff, there seems like a lot of stuff is changing. And it is kind of feels like it's like changing like in unexpected ways. Like if, I don't know. I'm going to see how long this one takes to download. If these other two have just been a fluke, or if it's going to go really quick again. And then it's going to be like, man, there is definitely got to be something. And then, at the same time, you're seeing all of us like, people are showing like we're practically being surrounded by those two letters that are the U and their camps and all that stuff. And there's something about a date with that too. And so there's a lot of stuff that is coming to the surface. A lot, the money thing with the politicians and the illegal shit. The illegal shit that they've made with other entities outside of this country is that they have control over us. Like they've given their citizens to them. Like, oh no, you take them. It's like in that 100-mile radius of the border you know, that most of us are on, but I'm definitely on it, and that they are, that's under the jurisdiction of those two letters and all these camps and stuff. So it's not like we're going to all end up there or something, but it could be a part of what is going to go down to shock us all, you know, it's scare us straight, kind of scare us into being better people, into getting out of this dark energy. So it really is like a scare us straight kind of moment. Oh yeah, and there was also another thing too, and where was this? It was some group. They were on like a hike together, and they got to a certain part, and there was it looks like the top of a pyramid coming out of the top of wherever it is. I shared that video too. But there's going to keep being more and more of the things being revealed to us, you know, the corruption, the hidden truth. There's just more. There's like so many things going on. I can't even fucking say them all. I don't even think I know them all anyways. But that energy is just going to keep going and going and going. I think it's just going to go like faster and faster. People are going to feel more and more intense, and it's going to go boom, like, and it's going to just fucking flip us. And then it's going to be like, whoa, kind of like the ride coming off the thing. And, you know, some people are going to spill out. But kind of like that kind of, whoa, moment. That is going to be the awakening. It's like, what the fuck just happened? And that is going to be like what is going to set everything in our life going the other direction. So even though it seems like, fuck, it's going to be intense, it's something that's going to happen no matter what. That's going to happen. We're turning the other direction. And obviously, it was wound so tight in one way that people have formed who they are around it. So yeah, it's got to untangle a lot of stuff and go the other direction. And the people who are tangled in it hold it tight. So it's going to be, you know, there's going to be an intensity to all this stuff that's going to happen. So you just got to keep writing it out and keep focusing on you, focusing on self, because that is what everything is happening. And the more that you can stay focused in self and then realizing like the things that happen, you can learn from them. You can have awareness of them, but you're not supposed to be jumping in and being fearful or judgmental. You know, that's not why everything is happening around you. And this is like this learning. It's like on the university campus, and we're all in these different buildings, and it's like everyone is like the walls have fallen and everyone's acting it out. And so you have opportunities to see how everybody else is affected and what everybody else is learning, and you can learn from their lessons, but you're not supposed to be sitting back and distracting yourself in order to be judgmental of them. You got to stay on top of yours and focus on what it is you're learning and becoming your best self. So that everything is going towards finding your best self. And, you know, your hair is talking to you. There's more things with your health and stuff. I just saw this one video. This dentist said it is the weirdest thing that she's ever seen. She's never seen anything like it. None of her staff, and some of her staff were 30-year veterans of dental. And this older lady came in and she had like this scab thing here. And this scab thing was like leaking pus and stuff. And she had gone to the dermatologist and he was going to cut it. And, you know, because that's what they do. What did I tell ya? And they're going to take out a chunk. And then once they biopsy and see like, oh, it's this critter. So we're going to have to dig it all out. We're going to just cut out. We're going to just take this part of your bone. We're going to just, you know, and they do it all out of you being scared and building that fear up in you. Like, okay, yeah, get it off of me. But anyway, so she went to the dentist first, and the dentist went in and found this huge abscess that had formed a fistula. So they've taken the tooth out and stuff. It was full of pus and everything, and it formed a fistula in her face where the pus was leaking out. And there's going to keep being weird medical things, but your body is speaking to you. Like, and it was a good thing that she listened to her internal, and it said, go to the dentist. And so, you know, that stopped her from starting to get her face fucking cut off. And what good would that do? Well, like, would the fucking thing start then picking up the pus that was in here? Like, Like, these guys are just guessing, and we're just lining up for them to guess. And I'm seeing so many people, like, in the hospital and stuff, like, they can't even believe what's going on, how they're being treated. The people don't know what the fuck they're doing. There's so many people. There's people waking up from brain dead. There's people being, like, there's so much stuff going on. Like, it was just so much. So, there's got to be a point too where, the tornado, if you're focused on all the stuff, the tornado gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So, you want to minimize your storm. And that doesn't mean distract yourself or pretend like nothing's going on, but to be clear about what's going on and understand it, but to also know what to focus on, what to look at, what to put in your, so, anyways, I'm going to go. I'm just rambling away. So remember to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.